Welcome to the Stellantis Tech and AI podcast. I'm Dale Jewett, your host. And in this episode, our guest is Guglielmo Caviasso, who is the Stellantis Global Head of Virtual Engineering inside our Physical Functional Design and Integration Group. That is quite a long title. Welcome to our podcast, Guglielmo.
Thank you, Dale. Good
Oh,
afternoon.
thank you. No, it's great to talk with you because today we want to talk about our artificial intelligence. And I think it's really important that we get the chance to have this chat with you because the perception for a lot of what AI is doing in the world and even in the automotive space these days is it's some sort of a virtual assistant that will interact with people inside the vehicle and make enhancements to the driving experience. And we in Stellantis are working very hard on that. We've already have a chat GPT integration that's available in many of our products, particularly in Europe right at the moment. But AI is a powerful tool and it goes really, really much deeper than that, certainly inside Stellantis. And I know you're the expert to try and help explain this to us. But first, start by telling me just a little bit about yourself and how you ended up where you are today.
For sure, Dale. As I said, I spent more than 30 years in, let me call, extended simulation field. I'm not only a digital guy, I'm a system engineer mainly, and a lot had the chance in my professional career to develop great products. Currently, I'm leading the global virtual engineering team. Let me focus on my team and Stellantis digital strategy at first. First of all, the mission of my team is driving transition from physical to digital. We want to ensure the best level of predictivity, lead time, efficiency for a full virtual development and validation process. I mean, we are the key actors in the early stage of the development of the products before the availability of physical properties that we want to reduce more and more to move forward to a full digital validation sign-off. Just I want to mention you which are the key challenges and tasks of my team. At first, we are leading and driving virtual development and validation to fully support performance and design convergence. We want to deliver and maintain the virtual car, the digital representation of the vehicle to all stakeholders during the full development process, and we drive digital methods, tools, digital assets evolution. Last but not least, we want to promote AI and machine learning techniques and extensive usage all across virtual engineering team, but also overall engineering areas. So I really, with pleasure, deep dive at this topic in the context of full virtual activities and Stellantis digital strategy.
That's interesting stuff, Guglielmo, because I've been around long enough to know that computers have really been integrated in vehicle development for several decades now, going all the way back to the 70s. But I get the sense what you're telling me here is this is a whole new era of what we're trying to do with computerized vehicle development.
You are totally right, Dale. Simulation in automotive field has 40 years of history. High maturity, high level of maturity, high fidelity.
Okay.
And to move forward, to run the last mile, we need new level. On top of physics-based model, putting AI will allow us to run the last mile. And the last mile is in the direction of a full digital validation of the products. To be faster, to be more efficient, that are the keywords in our context.
Okay. And one quick question, because you'd mentioned about high fidelity, and it's a joke, but I'm pretty sure that has nothing to do with me listening to my favorite music from the 1970s and 80s, because I'm kind of that old. But can you explain to me, what are we talking about in terms of high fidelity in your area of expertise?
High fidelity mean high level of predictivities of our virtual model, the capability to represent complex physics with extremely high resolution. I'm talking about extremely high resolution because you know that one of the key drivers of our digital strategies is physical mean reduction, with the ambition to reduce up to 70% before the end of the decade. Physical property reduction means high fidelity to be reached with all available techniques and levers, not only increasing the complexity of physics-based model, 30 years of history and maturity, but also leveraging more and more on AI. And in this field, AI is creating a disruption, a discontinuity.
So in other words, we want to be able to fully trust the computer simulation, right?
You are totally right.
Okay. Well, this is some interesting stuff. So what are some of the key drivers in our digital strategy?
As I said, physical means reduction is one important driver. The second one is digital integration. Keep in mind that to develop a product more and more software-based and to properly support hardware and software system integration, we want to increase the digital continuity in the simulation chain, ensuring fidelity through consistency. A cross-functional digital integration team has the task to deliver, maintain, and evolve the virtual car, comprehensive of hardware, ECUs, and software during the full development process. A consistent digital representation of the vehicle to be used by everyone who is developing software, who is developing hardware, who is developing performance through all the integration and validation process. So digital integration, physical means reduction, key driver. Another one is speed, simulation faster, with the ambition to reduce up to 40% our lead time in the following 2 years. Speed is a high value, not only for an efficiency reason, but because we always lose when the time decides for us. We want to accelerate design, not follow the design. We'll see how AI can play a crucial role in this context. Simulation-driven concept design. We want to shift left, affronting more and more complex 3D simulation in the early beginning when design is not still existing, changing the paradigm from one-click cut to FEM to one-click FEM to cut. And speed is even more a value in this phase, and we want to drastically reduce it. Last but not least, AI-driven simulation is one pillar of our digital strategy. We want to fully exploit AI and machine learning techniques inside virtual engineering, as well as in overall engineering community. To gain speed in all the sciences in which that are extremely demanding from a computational perspective, in order to speed up convergence. To gain high fidelity, in terms I mentioned you before, mixing simulation and testing data. To improve process efficiency through workflow automation. And without forgetting the human capital needed to support this strategy. I mean, the proper mix, the proper balance between senior tech expert and AI savvy talents.
So to recap, we want smarter models that are super accurate, and we want to do it super fast. Does that make sense?
A lot of sense. It's the
All
big,
right.
it's the big efforts and the key strategic direction on which we are moving forward.
How long have we in Stellantis been working on this, Guglielmo?
As I said, simulation is a 40 years old story. A long evolution, starting from the consolidation and then moving forward with increasing complexity supported by computational power improvement. The focus we are putting in the last couple of years is to run the last miles.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that in a super mature field, the last mile is always the harder. And you need to leverage not only of your common level, increase the complexity of model, increase the number of cells of your model, leveraging on high performance computing. And AI is offering us a great opportunity, a unique opportunity to run the last miles.
Okay. Do you have an example or two? I mean, have we been doing this long enough that you can say, here's how we used AI, or here's how AI really helped us go that last mile?
I will start with a concrete example inside one important cluster of AI application, that is AI for simulation.
Okay.
Let's start from external aerodynamic. We normally use complex computational fluid dynamics simulation to develop the shape of a vehicle to fit aerodynamic target. And this model can predict the 3D airflow around the vehicle, as well as the CD value. According to the level of accuracy we want to reach in the different phases of the development, we perform simulation with different level of complexity, starting from steady simulation to get drag increments and trend for design changes on external shape, moving to unsteady simulation to assess CD absolute value or increment for variance related to underbody changes, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, we move to unsteady plus mesh motion analysis to perform accurate optimization of tire and rims, for example. All these simulations are extremely computational demanding, taking a lot of time, even if we leverage on cloud high-performance computer cluster, from hour to day till a week.
Mm-hmm.
What we are doing is to train an AI model, what we call a deep learning physics model, with data coming from complex CFD simulation. And we leverage on this trained model to get live assessment of the effect of shape changes on the aerodynamic behavior of the car. And the fidelity of this model in predicting the external airflow and the CD value is extremely high. 98% with respect to super complex CFD simulation, taking only 250 seconds instead of hours or days. And keep in mind that these AI models can be used by an extended audience, an extended team, not only by CFD super expert, but also by designers from the style center or aero performance engineer to speed up the convergence of style and aerodynamic performance. Let me say it's a important way to democratize complex simulation and speed up our digital journey.
That's fascinating. You're telling me that in the computer with our smart AI models, that the designers can make a change, and then they can run the model and it'll say, oh well, okay, so you changed the little angle of this, but you made it so much more aerodynamic slipperier. That's probably not a great word, sorry, but that the computer can tell you that, rather than, okay, now we have to build it, now we have to take it to the wind tunnel, now we have to put all the measurements on it, run the test, and then wait for the results.
This is exactly what you said is what we are getting leveraging on AI in this field.
That's
Giving the
amazing.
possibility to a designer in the PDO, in the style center, to shape, to modify in his own tool the shape, drag and drop the modified shape in the AI model environment to get the live assessment of the effect of this shape. And this is great because you preserve fidelity, you gain speed, and you allow to a wider team that are the key actors in converging style with the aerial in order to gain speed and to be faster and faster.
I'm curious. That sounds like a whole lot of computing horsepower is going on. Do we have to build a giant server farm to be able for these computations to happen this quickly?
No, for sure we need computational power. We have a superpower cloud HPC cluster that support us in this journey to create using complex simulation, different configuration, to train the model with the proper hardware to be faster and faster in training the model. And that's it. After that, 250 seconds to get your assessment.
Wow. That is just amazingly fast. So I'm sure our design team loves having this capability if they're either chasing low coefficient of drag for design, or if they decide, hey, I really, really love this shape. So what's it going to cost me from an aero standpoint? And then maybe they can focus on something else to say, okay, well, if I change something else over here, I can lower my drag and still have the design that I'm in love with.
You are totally right. And keep in mind how is important aero performance for a BV, a battery electric vehicle in terms of effect on range. So we can increase the number of iterations and we can allow to the interfunctional team, style and performance team to converge on the optimal solution.
This is a great example, Guglielmo. Do you have, are there other areas where we're using AI in your universe?
For sure. Always stay in the AI for simulation chapter. We have another important application field that is what we call hybrid twin. We want to further improve the predictivity of complex physics-based model, mixing numerical with physical test data. The key goal is gaining high fidelity. To estimate, for example, with extreme accuracy, the accelerometric signal used for the calibration of crash sensor that activate the restraint system, that trigger fire, no fire of the bag. This lever is crucial in our physical means reduction glide path because allow us to move to a full virtual sensing calibration plan that is extremely complex because you need to be accurate on your estimation of the acceleration till 250 Hertz. And in that case, all your super complex physics-based models are not able to do that, are super accurate, but not enough to reach that frequencies with that accuracy.
Okay.
And in that case, mixing existing testing data on top of a super complex physics-based model will allow us to reach the final mile.
Interesting. Yeah, crash sensors are really hard from what I understand because we're talking a matter of milliseconds to make that decision, right?
You're right. And you know that sensing calibration plan is extremely huge in terms of number of vehicles to support it, timing to do that, and adding the possibility to move it virtually would be a super great opportunity for us.
You mentioned BEVs, and certainly aero makes a lot of sense for BEV because less drag equals more range, and most BEV drivers care a lot about range. Is AI helping us understand? There's a lot of data that comes off of vehicles these days. How is AI helping us with that, or can we use AI to take advantage of that data?
No, for sure. an important chapter of AI application is AI for data. Data coming both from development fleets as well as data coming from customer vehicles. And here we are talking about huge amount of data, thousands and thousands of records that require a lot of time to be analyzed, clusterized, and linked with corrective action. We are doing this automatically using AI, and this is great in order to gain speed, to gain efficiency. But also we use AI to analyze high voltage batteries data acquired over the air from customer BEV vehicle. And we use this data to feed AI model for predictive maintenance in order to increase product quality and customer satisfaction. So the application of AI from data, keeping in mind the availability of data for our connected vehicle, is offering us big opportunity and a lot of advantage to be more customer centric and increase the quality of our products.
Okay, I see nothing but benefits there. I'm curious. This is really, I don't want to say rocket science stuff, but this really is fascinating next generation ways of working. Guglielmo, how easy is it getting our workforce, our engineers, to adopt or use these tools? Does it require a lot of training for them, or is it a very natural next step?
As I said, in this field, it's super important to properly blend and mix technical expertise with AI-savvy talents. And to support and boost the deployment of AI application inside Stellantis engineering team, we create a core technical team, gluing people with core competencies. And you can imagine that talking about this different cluster, we are referring to different skill and competencies, different techniques and different competencies. So a core technical team to support transversely this kind of application, but also a network in order to share use case, synergy coming from similar technologies applied to different use cases. And we want to do it more and more internally, keeping in mind that is a strategic field in which we want to increase our level of verticalization. Creating smart team with hands-on keyboard, because learning by doing is the most effective way to properly enter in the field.
Okay, so I'm moved to ask you, what's the next big challenge? As you sit here today, and you're almost done with the last mile, so maybe you have 100 steps left. What's next in those 100 steps?
In the next step, I would like to mention two further chapters of AI application. The first one is AI for knowledge management and workflow automation. The connection between AI and workflow automation is extremely strong and offer a lot of opportunity. In this case, we want to use a virtual assistant connected to all our sources and archives of technical knowledge to quickly retrieve information, perform analysis, and quality check automatically, for example, on cut part, CAE model, or bit of material, just to mention a few examples. And you can imagine the big amount of technical documentation we have all across engineering, design criteria, lesson learned, internal procedure, and this will offer us a huge opportunity to leverage in a smart way, creating a sort of virtual assistant to all engineering to support their daily work. As well as you mentioned before, Copilot, not only on the car, but in all Stellantis office is fully available to ensure a lot of features, real-time transcription, automatically summarize content, making easier to capture important information during discussion, intelligent email management, just to summarize long email, helping you quickly understand key points without reading lengthy message, or automated content generation, generating drafts for email and document based on prompt, acting as your AI writing assistant. So, I mean, AI is making our life, I'm not saying easier, but at least less complex. And finally, also looking at the area in which we want to invest more and more is AI for disruptive design, for creating innovative solutions. In this case, AI techniques are helping in quickly analyze complex systems that provide thousands and thousands of possible configurations in order to identify the most promising one on which to trigger second level of analysis. Let's think just as an example to the BEV thermal architecture definition and optimization. A lot of parameter, a lot of potential choice, a lot of stuff to do. And this kind of tool can help us in order to screen and select only the most promising one in order to address a second level of analysis.
Guglielmo Caviasso, that is an incredible vision of the future. I think I need to make a note on my calendar that we should get together in another year and see how much has changed in just 12 months, right? Because obviously we're moving fast. And I think that's going to pay a lot of benefits. I really appreciate you taking the time today to help explain the power of AI inside Stellantis as well as outside of Stellantis.
Thank you, Dale, and will be a pleasure come back with more to come soon.
I look forward to it. And thank you all for listening to the Stellantis Tech and AI podcast, which is where we speak with some of the brightest minds in the tech and automotive industries. We invite you to follow Stellantis Tech and AI on LinkedIn and Instagram to join this conversation, stay updated on what's ahead, and be a part of the community that's exploring the fast lane of technology and AI in the automotive world. We'll see you again soon.